Caseus. Ashes of the Order. Chapter 8. Caseus sat by Liara's side throughout the long voyage to the rebel rendezvous. Looking upon her youthful expression as he held onto her hand made Caseus think about how time was beginning to catch up to him. He was tired, worried, anxious, trying to plan out their next steps before they made a move. Liara, on the other hand, was different. Once she was fixed up in the Bacta tank, she'd be back to her usual chipper self, full of optimism and an eagerness to explore more of the galaxy. In truth, Caseus envied this. To be young again, full of dreams and hope. And yet he was happy that with everything Liara had been through, her spirit refused to waver.
Caseus?
Caseus looked up at Zaturi, who came and sat next to him. How much longer until we get there?
It won't be long now. She's a tough kid.
I won't let something like this happen again, Zaturi. I can't keep putting her into these kinds of situations.
If you want my thoughts, I think she's taking the risk she signed up for. If I've learned anything from my time with you and Dravok, it's that a Jedi's life will always bring trouble. No matter how much you try to keep it from her, eventually trouble will come. Instead of sheltering her from it, maybe do what Dravok did for you.
I'm not Dravok. I would never treat her the way he treated me.
What I mean is that Dravok didn't sugarcoat things for you, Caseus. He trained you to face the pain and danger that you were up against on Castellon. He was cruel, yes. But he never sheltered you from hardship. He made you face it head-on. And you're stronger now because of it. Liara could benefit from some tougher teachings, as long as you're still there to support and guide her.
Caseus stared at Zaturi and gazed down at Liara. Dravok broke me. He broke me so he could make me into something else.
Then don't break her. Mold her.
Caseus thought about Zaturi's words. Maybe she was right. Liara would do well with some more intense training. Not to hurt her. To help her grow stronger. If he could find that middle ground between the two masters who trained him, he could help her become a more balanced Jedi. Thank you, Zaturi. Zaturi smiled and held out her metal hand to Caseus, who took it in his own cybernetic, the same way they had on Blengeel. A beeping came from the cockpit as Zaturi stood.
Get ready. We're here.
Caseus nodded and stayed with Liara as Zaturi made her way to the comm system.
This is Zaturi. Access code 883347. Passcode Valorum. We have an injured passenger. We are requesting immediate assistance.
Affirmative. Proceed to Dock C.
Zaturi and the others flew the Arabella through the airlock and inside the hangar of Dock C. And soon, rebel soldiers entered the ship, escorting the prisoners out, and Caseus stepped off the ship holding Liara. 2 soldiers approached. Are you the Jedi? That depends on who's asking. Zaturi said your apprentice was hurt. Follow us, we'll get her into a Bacta tank. Caseus was cautious, but followed the 2 soldiers as they led him to a large white room, outfitted with several Bacta tanks, surgical tables, and medical droids. Carefully, Caseus helped move Liara to a Bacta tank, as the doctors looked her over. How long will she be in there? It's good you got her to us when you did. Another hour or so. How long? About 2 days. Maybe 1 if she shows significant improvement. We can't wait that long. Just us being here will draw attention. The doctor looked at his datapad and over to Caseus. I don't think you understand. She can't go anywhere until she's healed. I understand your distrust, but you need to leave the room and calm yourself. Caseus glared and was about to say something when a rebel soldier entered the medical bay. Jedi, you've been summoned to the bridge. There's someone who'd like a word with you. It couldn't possibly be more important than my apprentice. You won't want to sit this one out. He traveled very far into great risk as soon as he found out you were coming. I suggest you come with me.
Caseus rolled his eyes and looked at Liara floating in the Bacta.
Fine.
Following the soldier, Caseus was led through long corridors and into a turbo lift up to the bridge.
Whoever this is, I think he could have at least contacted me personally. I need to be with my student.
At the end of the bridge stood a man with a gray cloak and graying hair.
Are you the one who wanted to see me?
The man turned around and smiled kindly.
And Caseus recognized him. Senator Organa. I wish this meeting could have come under better circumstances, young Jedi.
Caseus bowed respectfully to the senator.
So you're aiding the rebellion as well?
I am. And at great personal risk, I might add. Caseus, yes?
That's right.
Before the fall of the Republic, I was a respected senator representing Alderaan. Now I have to maintain the appearance of a loyal ambassador for the Empire. But my desire to see the galaxy free of turmoil has not wavered. You spoke to Mon Mothma not long ago, yes?
I did. She wanted me to join with this rebellion.
And you said no. Why?
Senator, you were friends with many of the Jedi. You know exactly what happened to them, and what happens to those surviving Jedi who are caught.
You fear that the Empire will come for you.
It's already happened before, on Dantooine. I fought an Inquisitor who was sent to kill me. Not to mention the numerous close calls I've already had.
Caseus, I don't know if you're aware of what is at stake. We are on the brink of war. Our hideouts across the Outer Rim are in grave danger. Every soldier, every man, woman, and child who is allied with us has taken the risk. Many have already perished in the name of rebellion, because they believe in what we fight for. Do you not?
Senator, I want the galaxy to be free of the Empire more than you could know.
Then what's stopping you? Caseus stepped closer and looked around.
Whatever forces you have, pale in comparison to the might of the Empire. That being said, what good would I be to your cause?
You're a Jedi, Caseus. And a Jedi such as yourself would be a mighty asset in our fight.
I'm just one man. Jedi or not. There were hundreds of us on Coruscant, Senator, when Order 66 was issued. We fell in a single night. You vastly overestimate my abilities.
Caseus turned to the door. Perhaps you underestimate yours. I've seen what a true Jedi can do against tremendous odds. I may not understand the Force like you do, but I know it to be a powerful thing. We are outmanned and outgunned, yes. That much is true. All-out war against the Empire would be a losing battle. But if we take the fight to them on a smaller scale, system to system, striking from the shadows, we have a chance. A slim chance. But one I'm not willing to pass up. Your friend Gaiadome sees this, as do your friends on the Arabella. But something is keeping you from seeing the bigger picture.
And what picture is that?
Bail Organa stepped over to Caseus and put a hand on his shoulder. That you are not alone. Hiding for the rest of your life. Is that any way to live? Caseus looked down at the floor. I urge you to reconsider. Don't just fight to survive. Fight to change the galaxy. Caseus looked into the kind eyes of the senator
before sighing and removing his hand from his arm. I'm sorry, Senator. You ask too much of me. Senator Organa looked down in disappointment. Then that choice is yours. But before you and your apprentice leave, there's one more person I'd like you to speak to. If you won't see reason from me, perhaps they can give you the answers you seek. Senator, you were an ally to us in dark times, when much of the galaxy had turned their back on us. Because of this, I'll speak to this person. After that, I cut my ties with the rebels. This isn't my war to fight. I understand. The senator handed Caseus a small holomap and placed it in his hand. Head to Rishi. There you will meet my contact. Who are they? I cannot divulge their name for their own safety. When you arrive, you will know them by the name Fulcrum. Caseus took the map and nodded before turning to the door. Caseus, I know the years haven't broken you entirely. I see it in your eyes. There is still a fire inside you. I see it in my daughter as well. Don't let that fire die out. Caseus bowed his head respectfully before heading to the turbo lift and making his way back to the medical bay. For an hour he sat, thinking on Bale's words to him. He looked at Liara in the tank. She would be safe here until he returned. Standing up, he placed his forehead on the tank. Be strong, Liara. I'll be back. Heading to the dock, Caseus saw Pip sitting nervously, fidgeting with a bolt. Pip, I need you to come with me.
What about Liara? Is she okay?
Liara will be fine. You and I have a mission. It won't take us long. Plot a course for Rishi. I need to meet this Fulcrum.